Have you ever felt like you're just constantly reacting to things happening to you? Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful idea that completely flips that script. It's called proactivity. And look, it's way more than just some corporate buzzword. It's really about taking control of your life instead of letting your life control you. We're going to break down 4 practical, simple steps you can start using right away to feel way more empowered. So let's get right into the foundational idea that makes all of this possible.
Everything, and I mean everything, really hinges on this one core idea. The source material puts it perfectly. Just knowing that we are responsible is the absolute key to being effective in, well, anything we do. It's a really subtle shift in how you see things, but as you're about to see, it's one that completely changes the game.
So, what does responsible actually mean? Well, it's not about taking the blame for every single thing that happens. Not at all. It just means recognizing that you have the ability to choose your response. No matter what life throws at you, you have the freedom to decide how you're going to react. And that, right there, is where your real power lies.
So how do we start tapping into that power? Well, step 1 is all about awareness, and it starts with the words we use every single day. You know, our language is a surprisingly accurate map of whether we see ourselves as in control or kind of as a victim of our circumstances.
Here's a super simple experiment you can try, like today. For just one day, make yourself a conscious listener. Really pay attention to the phrases you use and the ones you hear from your friends, your family, your coworkers. Think of it as a little checkup to see what your underlying mindset is.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the direct contrast here. On the left, you've got that reactive language. Phrases like, I have to go to this meeting, or I just can't do that, or the classic, if only. These words literally give our power away. But look at the shift on the right. Instead of I have to, try I choose to. Instead of I can't, ask, okay, let's look at our options. See the difference? This is proactive language. It doesn't deny reality, but it immediately puts you back in the driver's seat.
All right, let's move to step 2. Once you're aware of your language, you can start getting ready for future challenges. This step is all about mental rehearsal. It's like practicing in your head, visualizing a more proactive version of yourself before you're even in a tough situation.
Okay, take a second and think of a specific situation that usually triggers a reactive response from you. You know, maybe it's that one difficult coworker, or that stressful morning commute, or a recurring argument you have. Now, I want you to vividly imagine yourself in that exact moment, but this time, picture yourself responding proactively, with purpose, with choice.
And this, right here, this is the secret sauce. This slide shows you exactly where that power to choose comes from. First, you've got the stimulus, the thing that happens. But, and this is so important, between that stimulus and your response, there is a gap, a little pause. In that tiny gap is your freedom to choose. Proactive people learn how to make that gap bigger, to pause and consciously pick their response. Reactive people, they just let the stimulus push their buttons instantly.
Okay, so we've talked about self-awareness and mental prep. Step 3 is all about where you point your energy. It's about having a laser focus on the problems you can actually do something about. That's the secret to making real progress and just feeling less frustrated all the time.
Let's make this real. Right now, pick one problem that's been bugging you. Could be a stalled project at work, could be something at home. Got one in mind? Okay, good.
Now, let's figure out what kind of problem this is. Is it under your direct control, meaning you can solve it yourself? Is it indirect, where you can influence the outcome, maybe by talking to someone? Or is it something you have no control over, like the weather or something that already happened? Figuring this out is key. Proactive people pour all their precious energy into those first 2 buckets, the stuff they can control or influence, and they learn to accept the third.
So those first 2 categories, direct and indirect control, they make up what the source material calls your circle of influence. This is where you want to live and work. Now, for that problem you just picked, your job isn't to solve the whole thing at once. Nope, it's just to identify the very first, tiny, concrete step you can take inside that circle. This is so powerful because taking that one small step builds momentum and proves to yourself that you are not powerless. And that brings us to our final step, which really ties all these ideas together into one powerful commitment. It's a challenge to turn proactivity from just an idea into a real, consistent habit. The challenge is simple, but trust me, it's transformative. For the next 30 days, make a conscious promise to yourself to work only inside your circle of influence. That's it. Stop worrying about all the stuff you can't control. Focus all your energy on the things you can. You know, when you do this, something pretty amazing starts to happen.
your circle of influence will actually begin to grow. By making these small commitments and actually keeping them, you build this incredible personal strength and self-trust. And by focusing on being a model of proactivity, not a critic of other people's reactivity, by being a light, not a judge, you'll find you start to positively influence the people around you without even trying. Your positive energy just becomes contagious.
So let's end with this. We've talked through the framework, but the real power, it comes from action. So forget about tomorrow, forget about next week. What is that one frustrating problem that's inside your circle of influence? And what is the very first step you are going to take on it today?